Fair use, fair use. Fair use, fair use.
So that was the video. This woman has gotten a ton of pushback, like an abnormal amount of pushback, in my opinion. And, you know, I see a lot of people saying, oh, well, you're lucky a man is even asking you on a date because you're fat and ugly. Like, it's just, the reaction to this is off the chain. Like, and let me start off by saying this, okay? I don't think everybody's wrong in their reaction. Let me just start off by saying that, okay? I do think that we as women should be realistic about our dating options. I do believe that we as women should be aware of how we are perceived physically. And also what kind of men our looks will typically attract to us. You know, I've talked about in the past, knowing where you quote unquote rank. And I think it's very important that women know where we rank, not just because, you know, what kind of men we're typically able to attract, but just so that we don't put ourselves out there like this and be surprised at the reaction. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, girl, did you mean to get dragged like this? Did you intentionally walk into this? Like, did you not know that they was gonna come for you and say everything that they're saying? Did you not know that? Because girl. Yeah, why is it so hard to move in silence? Exactly. Like, why do we have to announce everything? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, like, I just don't believe in women, and especially Black women. I don't believe in us embarrassing ourselves like that. Like, I just don't believe in us doing that. I would rather us move in silence, you know? That's just me, okay? But like I said before on this topic, I see unattractive fat women at Ruth Chris, Fogo de Chao, Capitol Grill, insert steakhouse in the blank. Like, I see unattractive fat women at those places all the time with their husbands and their boyfriends. That's why I just don't think it's that deep, okay? And I be seeing men pay the bill, because I know the next thing is gonna be like, oh, well, how do you know the women aren't paying the bill? It looks like to me that the men are paying, okay? I've been to luxury places in big cities, small cities, and it's not only supermodels and perfect 10s in those places, okay? And I just have to say this, but you can tell who hasn't been anywhere when we have these conversations, because y'all really think that it's only baddies in 5-star restaurants and in luxury environments. I mean, is that the conversation we're really having here? Y'all ain't seen a fat woman that looked kind of like her at a steakhouse before? At Fogo de Chao at the salad bar? Y'all ain't never seen that before? Be funny, like, girl. Because I keep hearing people say, oh, well, that woman, she's not pretty enough, she ain't even cute, and all she deserves is a coffee date. And then people will be like, oh, well, the women who announce that they refuse a coffee date are only showing that they don't get many offers for dates. But y'all are showing your lack of experience too, because you think that women on her level of attractiveness have never been in a nice steakhouse. Like, that's actually showing your inexperience. Am I right? Or am I tripping? You know that all baddies wasn't in these places 24/7 if you went to them frequently and you saw the people in there. Not just once a year for Valentine's Day. No. Not just once a year for your birthday, because that's the only time your man can afford it. I'm talking about frequently. Like, just on a random Tuesday. You feel me? Just a random Tuesday, and you and your man is just like, let's go to Fogo de Chao because I like the salad bar. And I know because me and my man, we like the salad bar at Fogo de Chao. That's the best thing they have there, in my opinion. So we just be pulling up on a random Tuesday. Like, okay, let's just go to the salad bar real quick. Let's just get some salad bar food. I don't like all that meat they pass around. I don't know about y'all, but Fogo de Chao is not one of my favorite places, but I do love the salad bar. And so it's like, you mean to tell me you be pulling up on a random Tuesday and you don't see a woman who looks like her ever? Ever? White or black? White or black? And then you got women on TikTok saying, oh, well, there are rich men who accept cheap dates. Okay, and that usually comes after being wined and dined. The way y'all are acting like most women who have money, or most women who come from money, they just don't care about money because they have it and they're used to it. That's not true. Again, are you around these people or are you just talking? Like the way y'all, and women who come from money, they don't care about rich men because they used to having nice things. Okay, well then why do those women usually date and marry men in their same socioeconomic class? If they don't care about money. And see, it's wild because one minute y'all will say, oh, well, hypergamy is unrealistic because most rich men marry within their class. And the next minute you're saying, oh, well, rich women don't care about a man's money and aren't impressed by it. Which one is it? See, that's why broke people don't need to have, like, I feel like broke people don't need to have upper class conversations. Even middle upper class, because that's the class I'm in. I'm middle upper class. I feel like a lot of y'all don't need to be having these conversations. I'm not saying I'm the richest person in the world. I'm not. But y'all say stuff that don't make sense. That's all I'm saying. Y'all say stuff that don't make sense. And it's like you can kind of tell that you haven't been in those environments. And that's okay. But like stop talking for people who have money because you're not making sense. Women who have money, who come from money, high earning women, high value women, they typically marry rich other, men of their socioeconomic status, okay? And they socialize with those people as well. Y'all think that Becca Bloom lady on TikTok, which by the way, I love her. Becca Bloom, I don't know if y'all know who she is. She's I think she's Chinese. Chinese, filthy rich lady. You can tell she's wealthy. She's not rich, she's wealthy, okay? I follow all the luxury girlies of all races on TikTok. I love them all. But like, do y'all think that she's gonna marry a broke man? Like, come on. Like, what y'all are saying does not even make sense. Let me fix my internet before it goes out. My internet acting weird. Yeah, so some people know who Becca Bloom is.
Americans
yeah,
are grappling with
the
economy.
But yeah, what y'all are saying does not make sense. Now, I do agree that poor people, working class people, middle class people, we may actually like outwardly talk about money more, but to act like it's only women who don't come from money, prioritizing finances when it comes to men, and when it comes to choosing partners, it shows me that y'all don't be around high-earning, hypergamous women like that. It's actually poor people who prioritize love and character over money more than anyone. That's actually a poor people thing. It's mostly poor women who marry for love. Okay? It's not usually the people with a lot of money, and I can promise you that. Me, I prioritize money and character when it comes to the men I date. And any woman with a significant amount to lose financially does the same thing. We're not gonna be fucking around. Namende, is that how you say your name? Met my now great boyfriend of almost a year at a run club. Congratulations. Or our first date was yoga/coffee. Second was NYE party. Third was paint and sip. He's a sweet engineer. We even won a diamond from a jeweler at a raffle. Okay, great. That's great. Sometimes coffee dates work out, sometimes they don't. And I don't think women should be fighting over coffee dates. Like, and who, what woman gets what from what kind of date. If a woman doesn't accept a coffee date, that should be okay, you guys. Yeah, and thanks for the super chat. But yeah, they're mad that she's plus size too. That's another thing. That is another issue that they have. But I think pretty women, because the last time we talked about this, it was actually, conventionally attractive women going viral for the same thing. So it doesn't really matter what a woman looks like. They're all going to be mad about this. I did a video before on this, and very pretty black women saying the same thing. They got the same exact pushback.
Americans are grappling with the economy facing rising prices and a slowdown in hiring, fueled in part by President Trump's tariffs on imported goods. Economists expected the U.S. to add 75,000 net new jobs in August, which would have been alarmingly low. Instead, only 22,000 materialized, and the unemployment rate rose to 4.3%. That was a slight jump from July. But black Americans have seen their jobless rate jump even faster. At 7.5%, they currently face the highest unemployment rate of any racial group, higher than the white population at 3.7%, higher than Asians at 3.6%. Both groups have jobless rates, by the way, which are below the overall population unemployment rate of 4.3%. But if you dig deeper, the sharpest spike even there is happening among black women. Take a look at this graph. In February, when President Trump was settling down into the White House again, there were more than 10.5 million black women working in the labor force. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 306,000 have lost their jobs since then, stripping around $37 billion from the U.S. economy, according to the gender economist Katika Roy. Many economists point to Trump's massive cuts to the federal workforce as the driving factor. This is interesting. Black women alone make up over 12% of federal employees. That's nearly double their share of the labor force overall. And that's not by accident. For decades, black women have pursued public sector jobs as a pathway to the middle class. Government jobs often come with civil service protections against discrimination and pay inequity, which is critical because black women still face the largest wage gap in America even today. But those protections are evaporating. Many of the agencies that Donald Trump targeted in his budget cuts are agencies where black women make up a larger share of the staff. For example, the Department of Education, 28% of employees were black women. The department staff was cut by nearly 46%. By contrast, agencies with largely white staff, like the Department of Energy and Justice, saw cuts of just 13% and 1%, respectively, according to government data. But even black women who work in the private sector are being targeted. They make up a large share of the country's diversity, equity, and inclusion officers. And as more companies bow to political pressure to roll back DEI initiatives, these women are being pushed out of the workforce as well. Here's the thing. Even if you're not a black woman, all of this should alarm you. Economic policy expert Jessica Fulton explains that a sharp jump in black women's joblessness may foreshadow an impending slowdown for other groups, too. She says black women, quote, show up as a canary in the coal mine, giving a picture of what may happen to everyone else later, end quote. Katika Roy goes further, calling these cuts a strategic failure with long-term consequences that robs the country of leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurial capacity. Because when over 300,000 people from one particular demographic drop out of the workforce in a matter of months, that's not one community's problem. It's a structural problem for the U.S. economy. Joining me now, Derek Hamilton. He's the chief economist at the AFL-CIO, the nation's largest labor federation. Hamilton is also a professor of economics and urban policy at the New School. I'm also here with the Democratic Congresswoman from Wisconsin, Gwen Moore. Gwen Moore is she serves on the House Ways and Means Committee. She has a unique experience in this. Her father was a union factory worker. Her mother was a public school teacher. They're both great friends of the show. Welcome to both of you. Congresswoman, thank you. Let me start with you because you and I have had this discussion before. And you can go back to sort of the end of slavery all the way through the Great Migration. There were protections in the public service that did not yet exist in the private sector, which attracted a lot of black women and black people into these jobs. So when these kinds of cuts happen, they're going to hit black people and black women disproportionately.
Listen, I am certainly in the amen corner. I mean, your setup was perfect, Velshi, and I'm really glad that you lifted up the part that black people, and especially black women, sought employment in the federal government because, quite frankly, the federal government was first to make efforts to integrate and diversify its workforce. Not only did people get good pay or decent fair pay, but they got benefits like pension benefits. And so that's why black women are disproportionately represented in the workforce. I'm also glad that you raised the point that Donald Trump, in his effort to destroy DEI, deliberately targeted agencies like USAID, where 40% of its workforce is a minority, where the Department of Education, certainly 28% of its workforce are Black people, and then targeting like the labor and statistics position, or Dr. Hayden from the Library of Congress, deliberately targeting, using the algorithms, anyone who went to a diversity, equity, and inclusion training, or anybody who's Black. And the result of that is that since February, from February to July, 319,000 Black women have lost their jobs, largely due to the federal purges, whereas white men employment has increased, and even Hispanic employment has increased. So when you look at the pitiful job numbers that you just raised, it's because Black women sustained a huge blow. And as you mentioned, that impact will ripple throughout the economy.
Derek, it is known worldwide that if women are employed, families do better. In America, after the end of slavery, what ended up happening is a lot of people ended up as sharecroppers. So you didn't make any money. For 20, 30, 40 years, you weren't enslaved, but you still came out with less money at the end of the year than you started. In addition to what the Congresswoman says about benefits and protections, civil service jobs were a ladder opportunity for Black people, right? It was a job, and many people had children who then took jobs in those in the civil service. This was a way to try and make up for the decades in which Black people could earn zero money. We haven't solved that problem. The wealth gap between white and Black people is still massive.
Yeah, I mean, bureaucracy isn't all bad. Bureaucracy has rules and gets rid of discretion, like discrimination. So I think the message that we're getting from the Congresswoman, as well as Jessica Fulton, and your phrasing around this being structural, is that we see this and it's horrendous. It's a shame that we have such high unemployment rates for Black women and Black people in general, Black men, relative to everybody else, but the implications not only on them, but for our society writ large, the canaries in the coal mine. We can expect that this could be ominous for what we can expect to come going forward. And then the other big point is you can't separate Black men and women so neatly from a larger family context. Right. So this leads to more strains on caregiving, more strains on households in general to be able to thrive and survive.
So it's not just that Black women are losing jobs. They're losing access to health care. They're losing access to having contributions made toward their 529 or to their retirement accounts. They're losing money toward buoying their Social Security in the end. And that, the point that you made earlier, and it's true, that when you give women money, you're helping the whole family. That's anywhere in the world. So this structural inequality among Black women will eventually create a huge deterioration in the entire economy, as they don't consume as much, they don't get SNAP, formerly called food stamps, to be able to expend that. And I mean, this contagion, I believe, will spill out throughout the entire economy. It's not just a job. Let's
extend this, Derek. Let's put aside even the benefits of SNAP or Medicare, Medicaid, things like that. Let's just talk about Black women as consumers and taxpayers in society, right? If we are, our goal as a society is to what we call full employment, right? Get everybody who's capable of working and willing to work to be able to work. When you start to disentangle people from the workforce, it costs us all. So 300,000 unemployed Black women is not just 300,000 unemployed Black households' problem. We're all somehow suffering for this.
That's right. So aggregate demand suffers when we have parts of our economy suffer in terms of wages, income, and employment. And then another big point, Ali, is the fact that these jobs are productive. What the jobs create and what they do for the American public. This is our public infrastructure. You led with the Department of Education. Right. I mean, the Department of Education, we want a well-educated society that can go out and produce. So that also is a big point that we should pay attention to, the fact that we are dismantling our public infrastructure. And then here's the other point, for authoritative purposes, so that a person can have greater control to enrich whatever whim they may have, not for our benefit, but for the particular benefit of this administration.
I want to just put that the unemployment rate for Black women back up on the screen, Derek. The unemployment rate for Black women was 5.4% in January, still much higher than the rate for all Americans. It's jumped to 6.7%. Now, if you're not into statistics or economics, that doesn't look like that big a deal. That's a huge deal.
That is a huge deal. I mean, in a relatively short period of time, that increase is not only big for Black women, and we got to point out that the Black male rate is 7.1% as well. But in addition to the fact that we just had this huge increase, the point that Jessica Fulton made, canary in the coal mine, this is what we can expect to happen for the rest of the economy. The same adage, Black people are the first fired, last to hired. last hired is indicative is what might come for the rest of us. So what we need is strong collective bargaining. What we need is solidarity. We need to recognize that when you go after Black women, that chink in solidarity is indicative not just of class interests, but an interest of an inclusion of all people so that we can better fight for wages for all of us. This won't just affect Black women. It's going to spill over to the whole economy.
How some of it's working. I am seeing responses from Americans in these protests, in these town halls, that the American voter, the American public, we just released a new poll this morning, they think this is wrong and they're prepared to fight. They want to make sure that Congress is with them in that fight.
Thank you for lifting that up, because we spend so much time commiserating over where we are. But I'm old enough to remember how we have won in the past. It's with this coalition building, and Donald Trump has deliberately taken a chainsaw, to use their terms, to employment for Black and people, and particularly Black women.
Fair use, fair use. Fair use, fair use.
But yeah, they're mad that she's plus size too. That's another thing. That is another issue that they have. But I think pretty women, because the last time we talked about this, it was actually, conventionally attractive women going viral for the same thing. So it doesn't really matter what a woman looks like. They're all going to be mad about this. I did a video before on this, and very pretty Black women saying the same thing. They got the same exact pushback. And Black women especially get a lot of pushback when we announce our standards. Which is why I will say again, I personally think we should move in silence, show our standards with our actions instead of our words. I just don't see what Black women get out of this. I don't see what Black women get out of going on TikTok and being like, yeah, I don't accept coffee dates. Like, I don't see what we get out of this, because all you're going to get is people attacking you. They're going to attack your looks. They're going to attack your personality. They're going to put words in your mouth and say you said things that you never said. And they're going to attack the collective of Black women. This happens every single time a Black woman or a mixed with Black woman announces her standards. Y'all remember when Saweetie got that backlash? I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something about how she didn't want a man if he didn't buy her a Birkin. B. Simone, she also got backlash for saying she didn't want a man who worked 9 to 5. And I'm sure there are other examples you guys can remind me of in the chat. So, it doesn't really matter what a woman looks like. If a woman, and especially a Black woman, is saying that she wants more than what the average or below average Black man can offer, or are willing to offer a Black woman, then all of the low standard having women who date them, they're always going to have a problem with it. And the men, of course, are going to have a problem with it, but the women who date them are always also going to have a problem. Like I said about Just Hilarious in my last video when she was going after Nicolandria, Black women can't see beyond their own standards. So if they accept a certain thing from men, or the bare minimum, or low effort, then they expect you to accept that too. And I think a lot of people are projecting their own biases on this lady and making a lot of assumptions, because based on what she said in her other videos, it's not even that she wants a super expensive date. Now, we talked about this before. Like, sometimes it's more so about wanting a more thoughtful, well-planned outing. That doesn't automatically mean it has to cost a lot of money. Yeah, Ebony K. Williams, that was another one, yep. And look, I also understand the women who prefer coffee dates, because the other side of that argument is women are saying, oh, well, we want to leave quickly if we decide that we don't like the guy. Now, me personally, I prefer getting the getting to know stage. I prefer that to be over like FaceTime. Let's video call each other. Let me see your surroundings, Let's talk face to face on FaceTime or some other video chat, whatever. Let's see if we vibe, And then I like to go on a nice date. I don't use a coffee date or a cheap date or a quick date to get to know somebody. I like to do that over the phone. That's just my preference. And I also don't drink coffee anymore because my body doesn't like it that much. My body doesn't like caffeine. I start like getting spasms in my eye. It makes my nerves bad. So coffee isn't a good option for me for that reason as well. So, to each his own. Every woman has different reasons why they don't accept coffee dates. What if we don't like coffee? Then what? Then what are y'all gonna shame women for? Then what are y'all gonna shame women for? And like I said earlier, I think we as women should respect other women's preferences regardless of if they're identical to our own or not. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and that was another thing I kind of wanted to touch on too, because it's like, y'all know you don't have to go on a coffee date to get to know a man. Like, what happened to talking on the phone? Y'all don't do that no more? Y'all don't FaceTime no more? So y'all act like that's the only way to be like, oh, well, what if I need to get away? Girl, even if I'm on a long date and I want to leave, I'm leaving. Okay, oh, I got a text from my mama, I gotta go. Something like, you don't have to stay there. So yeah, it's like, I don't think this is an issue to where it needs to keep going viral over and over like this. I think it's stupid. And what's interesting to me, Black men announce their preferences all the time. Like, Black men will come online, they'll talk about how they don't date dark-skinned women, they don't date fat women, they don't date women who are average at best. They say this all the time. And what are Black women told? We are frequently told to get over it because it's just their preference. Black women, you need to ignore them because, everybody's not going to like you. You guys want everybody to like you. Think about all the stuff we hear when Black women respond to the Black men's preference. But as soon as a Black woman announces her preference, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. It's like, okay, well, what happened to it's just a preference? What happened to, oh, get over it. No, not everybody has to like you or want what you have to offer. Why doesn't that same logic apply here? Oh, we know why it doesn't apply. Because it's a woman. It's a Black woman. She got the nerve to be fat and conventionally unattractive to, she should be asking for nothing. And that's all the more reason why I feel like, okay, well, that same logic should apply. If she's conventionally unattractive and she's fat, why does it matter? Why does it matter that she's coming online saying that she doesn't like coffee dates? It's her preference. And you don't even want her anyway. So it's like, why are we using the same logic that we use with the men? So let's get into one of these responses that
If you want to know the direction of the jobs market, pay attention to the black unemployment numbers. That's not my guidance. That's the guidance from economists and experts who know much more about this than I. But let me explain. Right now, the U.S. unemployment rate is at 4.3%. We just learned that very few jobs were added in August, about 22,000. That's not good. If you were to describe this via text, you send a red alarm emoji. Now, for black workers, the data is worse. For now, another month, the unemployment rate is going up. It's now 7.5%. That's the highest it's been since October of 2021. And it's a number we've been watching ever since it was 6.8% in June. It's 2 alarm emojis. You dig even deeper, and you'll find that black women are disproportionately struggling right now. The jobless rate for black women is at 6.7%. The last time it was that high, September of 2021, back during the pandemic. Add one more red alarm emoji. Why is this happening? Economists have told us that when we see the unemployment rate going up for black people, it's a sign that it could soon go up for all people. And as our CNN business team explains, black workers are disproportionately employed in frontline and lower wage industries as well as the government workforce. So what comes for black people first often comes for everyone. And you know, those good government jobs have been a tool for black people to build stable livelihoods, especially for black women. But the federal workforce has been a target of this administration, along with immigrants and diversity initiatives. We have a lot to talk about. So joining me this morning, Latasha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter Fund, Stephanie Donegan, a former Republican candidate for the Georgia Senate and founder of Your Rich Life Media and the Stillwell Society, and Dalila Paul is the national editor of the news site Capital B. Welcome to you all. Stephanie, let me start with you.
It's going to get ugly.
In August. June revised down now, the first month of job losses in 5 years. The president promised the golden era for America. Where is it?
I mean, ultimately, we have to just be honest and say it doesn't look good, which I know people don't expect me to say, but the reality is right now, because of all the cutbacks in the federal government, it is going to hit black women disproportionately right now because of how much we are employed. That being said, I do believe that it is going to bounce back with the new businesses and new jobs that will be coming, but I think we need to give it time. I don't think we've given it enough time.
That's something we heard from the Commerce Secretary as well. Let's play what Howard Lutnick said.
We've seen that in all sorts of agencies throughout this government. The people, the holdovers from the Biden administration, they're just bent against the president's success. They're rooting against America and against Donald Trump, and that's got to end. So he can't replace somebody, 2 weeks ago, and you expect fundamental change.
Latasha, he says, give it time.
The challenge with this is that when you look at black women, we, particularly in terms of women, we are, in terms of participation in the labor market, we're 60% more than all of our women counterparts of the labor market. But what's interesting in federal jobs, we're about 11.7%, which means that's in parity of our population, right? But when you look in the private sector, we're less than 1.8% when you look at higher management jobs. So what we have seen is that federal jobs have actually created a pathway and opportunity that black women, it demonstrates that when black women are given an opportunity, that there are federal protections that allow us to matriculate, that what you see is that we're able to get representation. What he's saying around that we're supposed to just play on the market, but what we're seeing is an underrepresentation in the market, that oftentimes we're underpaid in the market, we're in entry-level jobs, you do not see the same kind of economic stability that we've seen with federal employment.
I saw your facial expression.
Because ultimately, a lot of the hiring I feel that's happened within the federal government was to check boxes for DEI, not necessarily because this was just perfect for them. And I only say that because of how many black women.
It's going to get really ugly.
That's the reason we're seeing the layoffs that we're seeing and the unemployment, because that's how they got hired in the first place.
I think the interesting thing about that is that in terms of federal jobs, that is merit-based, that people actually are able to keep their jobs or even to literally ascend based on being merit-based. You don't see that in the private sector. So I think it's really to say that black women working in these jobs is to check a box. It ignores the fact that that is a merit-based.
Well, to a degree, because I do know for federal government, depending on what your history is, if you have worked in the military, if you're black, you do get extra points when it comes to hiring. And so being black in general will push people up when it comes to hiring. Being a black woman will push people up when it comes to hiring.
Yeah, can I pause? I think we have to think about the impact. I mean, the fact that you have hundreds, thousands of black women who are out of jobs, women from the age of 40-something, 50-something who are caregivers for their families. We've had reports. We have interviewed women who are struggling right now. So I hear what you're saying about the checking of the boxes, but I think we're losing sight of the human impact of this.
Actually, I agree with you on that. I actually feel that it's quite unfortunate that that has to happen, but we cannot continue to keep people in jobs to keep a payroll going. I think that's unfortunate.
But that's not, I mean, again, I have to disagree with you. I think a lot of the women who have been losing their jobs have played critical roles in government.
But if it was
and it's
really
beyond
critical,
DEI.
if it was
it's
really
beyond
critical,
DEI.
they would still have their job. It wasn't that critical.
No, they don't have their jobs because now there's a policy in place that really has been racialized. It's not. We're looking at a space that how were they able to ascend? It wasn't about the checking the box. It was hard work. We know that in a culture as in America, when have black women ever been given something just because we're checking a box? The women, we are the cornerstone of this economy all across it.
Well, I hear you, but I can also say that one of my first jobs was for the federal government, and I was very clear that I got pushed up ahead of people because I was black and I could check the box.
Well, let me ask you this, because there's a gender economist, Katika Roy, who calculated between February and July that 319,000 black women lost their jobs in the private and public sector. In that same period, job increases for white men was 365,000. There were 176,000 job gains for Hispanic women. There were 142,000 job gains for white women. And so when you suggest that these black women were in jobs to check a box, reconcile that with the increases for these other demographics and communities.
Well,
those jobs were earned and they deserve better jobs and deserve to have more jobs, while the hundreds of thousands of black women were just there to be pushed along and check a box.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying, because
Okay.
ultimately I think we all can agree that DEI has not just
He
helped
got her on
black
that.
women. So that's in the first place. DEI has helped minorities, women, white women. DEI has helped not just black women, but when it comes to the conversation,
White
of
men
federal
also.
workers, with us being such a large percentage of federal workers.
It's deeply insulting to say that. It's deeply insulting that when you're looking at federal workers, we make what 11.7%. That's just in parity of our population, and so that there you have 80%, and more of people that represent different segments of society. So to suggest that black women in some way that our presence in the federal government has come from just somehow we are checking the box really undermines the fact that we have been the cornerstone of the labor market in this country.
No, it doesn't. It just looks, that's the way you want to see it.
She played a
doesn't.
sleight of hand with
Ultimately,
black people
were
and
not
black
the only people
women.
who were laid off. It's just that the conversation we're having today is around the large percentage of black women, and that is because of how many black women are employed federally. But ultimately, when we talk about people who have still been employed, who have been hired of other ethnicities, of other races, I know for sure, I've seen the conversation on social media of people saying that they're not going back to work yet. I've seen the conversation of people saying that they're going to sit on unemployment. I've seen the conversation of people saying they're going to start businesses. And so ultimately, I don't even think the numbers are completely correct yet. And I don't know if we're going to know that for a few months.
Dalila, let me get you in here, and I'll bring this, that black women bore the brunt of the job losses during the pandemic. They bore the brunt of the job losses of DOGE. And so as we look at this continue in private sector as well, what's that mean on a community economic level, on a home economic level, with black women disproportionately being head of household in many homes?
I mean, it's the ripple effect. It's the fact that people can't pay their mortgages. People can't afford to take care of their parents who are sick. They have kids in college. But I want to also mention how, just back to her point about the jobs, the Department of Education had a large amount of black women who were laid off. Many of these women worked in the civil rights divisions. These offices investigated discrimination against black students. There are these real consequential ripple effects that are happening professionally and personally, and we have to keep that in mind.
So do we not think that these jobs will come, as this coming to the states?
She's right about that.
Coming to the states. Are we not looking at it as though the jobs will open back up? Are we not looking at it as though it stopped on a federal level, but it will move to a state level? Are we just ignoring that fact?
No, what we're looking at that households are being impacted. What
So
we're looking at
are we going to continue paying people just because we feel bad for them when those show that these divisions...
No, this isn't about feeling bad for them. We're saying that there are credible workers who have actually contributed and continues to
But
contribute
in
to this
departments
country.
in which we've shown waste. So we can't keep
But how have we
on
proven
in
waste?
ways.
That's not been proven.
We've got to pause here. Latasha, Dalila, Stephanie, thank you all for staying with me. I will say here, where I started this conversation is where I want to put an exclamation point on the end. What has come for black workers, and specifically black women, economists say will be coming for everyone. So this will be a conversation over the next months and years that could expand.
Let me know if you guys can hear it. It be the black women who know that they got limited options with men that always want to try to make a man look like shit. Like, bitch, you are overweight and you're a solid 3. The audacity of you. Now, we all know that lady who went viral about talking about some man invited her on a coffee date, and she told him no, and she went to go get her a fucking sandwich, a fucking soup, and a croissant, and a Dr. Pepper. Bitch, you lucky you got asked out on a date. Chivalry is dead nowadays. And bitch, you really go try to make this man look crazy for asking on a coffee date because you don't like coffee? Bitch, really, you like everything that's unhealthy for your ass. Did she say his name? Did I miss a video? Did the woman say his name? Did she, like, embarrass him? Did we find out who the man was? Yeah, this is my first time ever seeing this chick. Y'all sent it to me, and I heard it. I was like, oh, wow. And, I know black men are probably eating this up. I don't know. I haven't looked at, like, the comments or anything like that. But it's like any other time, this girl will be masculine. She will be loud. She will be ghetto. But, of course, since she's defending the black man, feminine and friendly goes out the window, right? Because she's defending the black man, right? That goes out the window. And then why is she so aggressive? Like, it makes you this angry that a woman come over here and she's like, I don't want a coffee date? Like, why are you this angry? And this is how I know it's not just about the coffee date. Like, you are offended because you're offended on behalf of black men. Yeah, she's very, very male identified. And, it's a shame. You're right. And then one of the ladies, I did read one of the comments, and she was like, young man, why are you yelling at us? This is what I'm saying. Like any other time she would be masculine, people would probably be calling her a stud. Because honestly, at first glance, she looked like a stud to me. I was like, oh, is this one of those things where a stud is like jumping in the conversation and like defending men? No, she's not a stud. She's just masculine. So let's continue.
And I'm gonna touch on every aspect of the situation because y'all got me fucked up and I'm vexed. And y'all know me, I'm quick to call everybody out on this shit and I don't give a fuck because you can't whip me. But bitch, your hungry ass should have just said that you was hungry. But no, your big, insecure, overweight ass decided to sit your phone down while your fat ass was eating and press record and talking about how the man was asking you on a coffee date and you politely told him no. And then everybody over here defending you talking about, oh, well, she didn't told him that she didn't like coffee. He kept asking her to go on coffee dates. Okay, you be the same bitch that don't want to be talked to in the store. But yeah, you talking to niggas that you know that ain't give you the conversation that you want. And then you want to complain. What sense do that make?
Girl, she is raging. And I don't know who this woman is. Does anybody know? Is she a baby mama? Like, what? Why is she so angry? Yo, why is she so emotional? Like, I'm trying to figure like, somebody need to find that man and get him to take her on a coffee date. Because what is going on? Why are you this upset? Oh, she's a baby mama? Now, I don't know if that's true, but if she a baby mom, that usually explains it all. See, you can't be this angry if your situation is not fucked up. Like, her baby daddy probably didn't take her on a coffee date. Let's just be honest, because we know what y'all are getting out here, okay? That's another thing that's kind of getting on my nerves in this conversation, because y'all are like, y'all act like y'all ain't been anywhere, and I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, why did he gotta take me to Ruth Chris? It ain't that deep, you know, because if you used to nice shit, we know what y'all getting. We see your baby daddies. We see them. We see what y'all complain about. We know we know it's not that. So y'all need to stop capping on this internet. Shannon said, in this instance, it's like when Iyanla was trying to shame Ebony K. Williams, who's now a judge, telling her to lower her standards to a bus driver. When Iyanla, you're on your third divorce because you lowered your, exactly, it's always the women who don't have standards. And then the women be like, because I date millionaires and I used to date, it's always what they used to date. Have you noticed that? It's always what they used to get. I remember back in the day when I got into a Miss Sprinkle, that was her comment. And you know, these women, they're just not used to dating millionaires. They're not used to, okay, but did you marry one? Why your husband ain't a millionaire? Why you gotta come on here and be on live for 17 hours to make your money? But you coming to me talking about, and these women aren't used to dating millionaires. Bitch, are you? Do you have one now? Because I swear, if I were to say that, if I were to get on here and be like,
yikes,
yeah, and I used to date millionaires, y'all don't know what that's like. Y'all be like, okay, Chrissy, okay, but do you have one now though? Like, that would be your first question. Did he give you a ring though? And see, my man, he do got money, but he's not a millionaire. But you better believe if I'm gonna be bragging about being with a millionaire, I'm gonna have one right then and there. Otherwise, I'm not gonna say anything. Because it's like, who did you marry though? If you did not marry one, it doesn't count, sis. It does not count. I'm sorry to break it to you. If you didn't marry a millionaire, it doesn't count that you used to date him. It does not count.
All right, we can finally start, and we're gonna have to pause in a minute anyway. But okay, so the videos that I played back to back show Black women such as Chrissy speaking about luxury, right? Luxury dating standards, right? Okay, cool. And she based this off of the conversation we were having a couple of weeks ago about the heavyset Black women who said some brother asked her on a coffee date and she was like, I don't do coffee dates. Okay, fine, cool. Balancing out Black women in this luxurious lifestyle thing and Black women and job loss. You know, a lot is going on. Machine learning, automation. I think it was Dr. D that said, nice euphemism when I said America is moving into a multipolar world, no longer unipolar, right? And that means that you're going to have to adjust your expectations. And we have the likes of Chrissy who said, damn all that. Okay, fine. The heavyset Black women that she was covering who said, damn all that. Okay, fine. A number of Chrissy subscribers and other Black women in real life and on the internet, social media, who are saying, damn that Z, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm riding this till the wheels fall off. Okay, fine. All this emphasizes is it does not matter the environment. These weirdos, such as Chrissy, are going to take this to the grave. Now, when Chrissy says that, earlier I played it, that poor folks shouldn't be having certain conversations. I said it, let Chrissy talk long enough, let a lot of these people talk long enough, we gonna get into some anti-Black stuff. We talking about poor Black people. You're real close, ma'am, you're real close. Huh? Now, if we're saying that poor people shouldn't be having certain conversations, certain class conversations, then can we say black women shouldn't be having certain conversations? You know, about relationship and marriage, seeing that they're the most chronically single people in America, definitely seeing that their marriage rate isn't the crapper. They have the lowest marriage rate and the lowest interracial marriage rate and the highest divorce rate. How is that possible? You know, black women in magic, right? And voodoo and witchcraft, because they're the only people out here with a higher divorce rate than marriage rate. But okay, fine. So if we're saying that poor people shouldn't be having certain conversations, Chrissy, can we also say that black women shouldn't be having certain conversations? You know, about relationship, intimacy, huh? Romance, how to keep a relationship, how not to get divorced within 5 years, huh? So we should ban all black women from any conversation about men in relationship. Get them out of the church, get them off of the podcast, get them off of the tours. Ace Metaphor need to take every woman that he worked with and throw them out the door. Huh? Even the ones that have been married for 15 years, even the ones that have been married for 20 years. Because certain people shouldn't be having certain conversations. You're right. Huh? Even with the current environment, black women losing 100, 300, 500,000 jobs. We still have weirdos like Chrissy that say, see, but see this luxurious lifestyle, right? And I'm middle upper class. So what does that mean? You're earning what, 120-ish, 150-ish a year? Huh? On your own? Pretty damn good. Huh? Because upper middle class start around what, maybe what, 200, 250-ish? So Chrissy, you earning like 150-ish, 125-ish, 140-ish, 130-ish. Not bad at all. But kids in that wedding ring though. Ah. And there's also, from what we could tell off of your personality on the internet, insufferable. No. To think that we're here and Chrissy is still speaking about luxurious lifestyle and luxurious dating. Mr. Z's not actually against people talking about luxury. Mr. Z's not actually against people actually enjoying luxury. Swearing by it? Swearing by it with these high ass interest rates and stagflation? I don't know. Huh? There's a lot of people who are going to get the worst reality check possible, right? The worst reality check possible because they do not appreciate the environment. Even in this late date, you have the Chrissies, and she's not the only one. Huh? Speaking absolutely crazy. Little nothing has changed since when Kevin Samuels was still alive, when he was still around. Chrissy's still on this type of time.
This is what I tell average looking and below average looking women. If you can't date up, be alone. Life is easier that way. And I know that's controversial. I don't care. I don't care.
No? And what does that solve exactly? We've seen multiple news segments over the past month or so, maybe 2 months, speaking about black women losing their jobs left and right. Huh? Unemployment rate is now at 6.7. Yeah, but black men are at 7.1. Black men still earn more though. Hearing Chrissy speak like this in defense of a black woman who tried to humble brag about turning down a date because he asked her out for coffee. But let's be very clear, that's what she was engaging in. That's what a lot of women engage in, particularly black women. They humble brag about what they turn down. Huh? It's a way of them telling you where their station is, their level, and what's beneath them. Yeah. So that's great, madam. You turn down a coffee date because you're better than coffee. You have your standards. Cool. What's that marriage rate look like for black women again, everyone? Ooh, goddamn. That interracial marriage rate, yikes. Because we know what that same-sex lover rate looking like for them. What that look like, Z? What that look like? Uh-oh. Huh? 23% of young black women now identify as bisexual. Chrissy. Huh? Chrissy, black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. You want to talk about luxury? Huh? If you can't date up, it's better to be alone, right, Chrissy? Your words. Mr. Z ain't putting words in your mouth. Those are your words. Yikes.
This is what I tell average looking and below average looking women. If you can't date up, be alone. Life is easier that way. And I know that's controversial. I don't care. I don't care.
Is life easier that way, though? Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. Is life that easy, though? Life's easier that way? Ugh. Sounds like you just spewing nonsense. Inaccurate, factually inaccurate nonsense. Life is easier with less wealth? Actually, being the less wealthy, single and childless black women having the least amount of wealth in America? Ugh, I don't know. Sounds like someone either doesn't know what they're talking about or does know what they're talking about and is still leading their subscribers to a lifetime of, I don't know, poverty and struggle and being a sexual plaything for, well, everyone. Ooh, goddamn, see? Well, yeah, we're going to start using that one. Sexual plaything for everyone. White men, black men, Latino men, Asian men, other women. Ooh, goddamn. Huh? Stay that Inspired Truth. I'm going to read that one now. Inspired Truth says, and thank you for the super chat. Y'all check out Inspired Truth channel. We got Dr. Thunder in here too. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. It's all about the appearance of prestige, bro. And the Chrissy types swear by that. They'll die by that. Huh? It's all about the appearance of prestige. These ladies have taken this to another level. As a matter of fact, y'all give Z a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, so it's all about lifestyle. It's all about luxury. Quite frankly, whether the men can afford it or not, Matters not. Do they want to spend it on the Chrissy types? Chrissy's solution is dating out and marrying out. Ugh. Good riddance. Why we cover this is not because of her. It's the rhetoric. It's the backbiting, spiteful comments. Black men have standards, don't they? Y'all don't say anything when black men talk about their standards because you see it as an attack. Everything that's not kissing your ass or other women with your phenotype, other black women with your phenotype, is seen as an attack. The reason why you sound spiteful is because you register black men who speak about their preference as an attack on you, as an attack on other black women that look like you. And so now you feel justified in making backbiting, spiteful comments. Because of course you do. Huh?
Then we're not gonna shame for. And like I said earlier, I think we as women should respect other women's preferences regardless of if they're identical to our own or not. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and that was another thing I kind of wanted to like touch on too, because it's like, y'all know you don't have to go on a coffee date to get to know a man. Like, what happens to talking on the phone? Y'all don't do that no more? Y'all don't FaceTime no more? So y'all act like that's the only way to go, oh, well, what if I need to get away? Girl, even if I'm on a long date and I want to leave, I'm leaving. Okay, oh, I got a text from my mama, I gotta go. Something like, you don't have to stay there. So yeah, it's like, I don't think like this is an issue to where it needs to keep going viral over and over like this. I think it's stupid. And you know what's interesting to me? Black men announce their preferences all the time. Like, black men will come online, they'll talk about how they don't date dark-skinned women, they don't date fat women, they don't date women who are average at best. They say this all the time. And what are black women told? We are frequently told to get over it because it's just their preference. Black women, you need to ignore them because, you know, everybody's not gonna like you. You guys want everybody to like you. Think about all the stuff we hear when black women respond to the black men's preference. But as soon as a black woman announces her preference, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. It's like, okay, well, what happened to it's just a preference? What happened to, oh, get
You and y'all little fragile 6-year-old temper tantrum losers. Let me get this right. Chrissy is college educated from what we know. She's making good money. I'll take what she say at face value. I believe her. And you still a little 6-year-old temper tantrum throwing loser? I'm not their preference. Scorch earth everything. All the little spiteful comments. Black men talk about their preferences all the time. All the little spiteful comments. Let's go back in the way back machine. It's only about a few months. The same thing Mr. Z said about Tracee Ellis Ross is the same thing Mr. Z is saying about Ebony K. Williams. It's the same thing we know about Real Talk with Yanni. It's the same thing with Chrissy, particularly with Chrissy. Because Chrissy speaks like this sometimes, right? Voice for radio. Huh? She put extra sauce while she's speaking about luxury and the lifestyle. Shout out to Chrissy. She attempts not to raise her voice too much. I gotta shout her out. Sounds real nice. Chrissy sound like she would be good at, like, back in the day when people used to call the Triple X hotline. Oh yeah, yeah. Chrissy's voice. Shout out to Chrissy. And so she makes it sound real good. Her little spiteful, backbiting, resentful ass comments. I hear you, Chrissy. The little resentful comments, but you make it sound real nice. And in reality, you just throwing a goddamn temper tantrum. We let you talk long enough, we're gonna end up under white men's scrotum because, of course, it's Chrissy talking. We let you talk long enough, we might end up in Auschwitz. Of course, it's Chrissy talking. Now, are you as bad as Cynthia G? Nah, maybe not. Well, we let you start talking. You're already poor people shouldn't be having certain conversations. Mr. Z doesn't know if he actually disagrees with you all the way. But why are you saying it? Ooh. And what exactly are you saying? So if poor people shouldn't be having conversations, Mr. Z gonna come right back around and say it again. So does that mean that black women shouldn't be having certain conversations? I mean, their marriage rate is in the toilet. Their interracial marriage rate is in the toilet. Their DV rate amongst same sex is high as hell. So maybe black women should sit the whole relationship conversation. They should sit that one out. The entire relationship conversation. I mean, I'm only using your logic. Oh, and your spiteful tone right now. You see how spiteful Mr. Z sounds? You see the mocking tone that Mr. Z's using? Yeah, that was you. Huh? Yikes. Y'all throwing temper tantrum all over Al Gore's internet. Even with the environment being what it is now. Huh? Apolitical, ahistorical. Huh? It's just all about luxury. It's all about lifestyle. And if you live in an anti-black society, because you do, how easy is it for you to just tip your big toe, nose deep, stick your big toe into, the pool of anti-blackness? Definitely anti-black male misandry. Oh yeah, oh definitely. Forget nose deep, forehead deep. Huh? Mariana Trench deep in some anti-blackness. Huh? All that because you were sold a lifestyle since childhood and you can't let it go. I hear you, Chrissy. I get it.
If this struck you as unusual when you were watching the series, that's because it was. In scholar Richard Bush's study of 262 so-called domestic situation comedies from 1946 to 1990 at least, he found that just 11% featured heads of household who were working class, i.e. doing blue-collar, clerical, or service work. Malcolm's father, and future drug lord as you may remember, plays a low-level clerical worker. This is despite the fact that most American workers qualify as working class. Back in 1976, scholars Gerbner and Gross addressed this still relevant trend, calling the exclusion of working class families from television a symbolic annihilation of America's economic realities. The problem is especially that on children's television, where a scant 2% of characters are depicted as working class. Now, this isn't exactly a coincidence. Showing stable middle and upper class families is good for business, especially if you're making a family-friendly sitcom. And the reason is simple: commercials. According to scholars Zieglinde Lemke and Wibke Schneiderman, as a form of mass entertainment financed by selling commercials to middle-class consumers, it seems logical that the predominant mode of representing class presupposes middle-class normativity. That is to say, watching the kids' skins stick to the seat in a rundown car with a broken radiator doesn't exactly put you in the mood to splurge on that cool new vacuum cleaner or a fancy bottle of cologne. In comparison, watching the Huxtables hang out in a brownstone while modeling yet another sick sweater from a seemingly endless pile brings viewers a sense of economic plenty that they might not feel in their day-to-day lives. Now, obviously, Malcolm in the Middle wasn't the first show to peddle an economic angst.
I'll tell you what they're going to pay you. They're going to pay you what all jobs pay. Less than you're worth and just enough to keep you crawling back for more.
We saw this as far back as the 50s with the Honeymooners, while the mid-70s brought Laverne and Shirley, and the late 80s saw the debut of America's most famous working-class family on Roseanne. But for anyone with enough business savvy, it just didn't seem financially smart to make a family or children's show about bringing your leftover egg breakfast to school for lunch.
What do you have? Leftover eggs from breakfast?
Which brings us to Disney. In a moment, that is. First, we have to look at 1980, when a broad cultural phenomenon began. The Reagan-era loosening of restrictions on entertainment regulations, including advertising during children's television programming. Now, after a major 70s-era crackdown on advertising to kids, you could only show a limited amount of commercials during children's programming, and were also required to produce educational and informative content for kids. When President Reagan and co. had essentially signed or vetoed all that away by 1984, things changed rapidly. A year after regulation, all of the top 10 best-selling toys had their own TV show. While child-centric product placement had occurred during television's early days, that was really no comparison to this new reality. The insane proliferation of TV character-aligned merchandising was dubbed the Strawberry Shortcake Strategy by Tom Engelhardt. That's thanks to the 1980 show's explosions of licensed dolls, video games, stickers, lunchboxes, and so on. And that reliance on branding would continue to increase from the 90s and on, as corporations realized what a valuable consumer demographic children could be. And though a 1990 congressional bill had reinstated some restrictions on such advertising, the industry had been changed forever. Increasingly, merchandising centered on children's television characters began blurring the line between consuming entertainment and just plain consumerism. And we're not trying to demonize your favorite Lizzie McGuire lunchbox. It's just a little weird. Which is why families like Malcolm in the Middle aren't the norm for places like the Disney Channel. While they didn't start making original live-action shows until the late 90s, they came in hard, quickly crafting what journalists Julia Borston and Alinda Wheat call a tween machine, in which pre-teenagers, and in this case primarily girls, were targeted through lifestyle marketing like the world had never seen. As scholar Morgan
lifestyle marketing, Chrissy,
was part and parcel with the programming decisions themselves, explaining that Disney Channel personnel worked closely with Disney Consumer Products and Disney Music Group to extend the network's fictional narratives across a variety of media and merchandise for tween girls. This was in order to effectively creep into the lives and life spaces of kids beyond the TV network. And that's according to a presentation given by President and CCO of Disney Branded Television, Gary Marsh himself. And the way they did it, mostly through appeals to girl consumers. As Blue explains, characters like Hannah Montana promote representations of aspirational celebrity and teen life via fashion and dress-up and musical performances. And this way, according to Blue, the girl star personae both reflect the effect of a neoliberal turn in the United States, which privileges a performative and celebrity-oriented form of girlhood as the contemporary ideal, i.e. a girl who has all the products she needs to look and behave a certain way. In the aughts, this often took the form of sparkly clothes.
Oh, well, you look at that again!
A large expansion into Walmart stores with clothing and lifestyle lines specifically marketed to middle and working class girls. And by 2014, Disney was racking in $3.99 billion of revenue in consumer products alone, driven largely by Disney Channel merchandise. The franchise element of the Disney Channel explains why programmers need to make shows about securely middle-class families. Doing so both doesn't alienate working-class viewers, while also painting a fantasy of magical middle-classdom where money is never a problem and consumption is a high priority. That is to say, the family on Wizards of Waverly Place may run a
once again,
but their apartment doesn't look that way. As Blue puts it, Disney's texts, products, and promotions may allay anxieties over vast systematic inequalities, in large part by painting an image of a world where families aren't struggling to make ends meet. This, of course, requires ignoring realities, like the fact that 14.4% of American children were growing up below the poverty line as of 2019.
I actually am worried about the future because I just want us to be good and don't have to worry about how we're going to get the next thing or how we're going to get food.
Of course, it's not just Disney and it's not just tween girls being targeted. Cartoon shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Smurfs were extended through a huge amount of licensed merchandising tie-ins, ranging from films to comics and books to computer games. Scholar Marcia Kinder observed back in 1991 that this transmedia intertextuality effectively eliminates any distinction between the original text, i.e. the show, and the spin-off text and commodities that bank on the show's success, which may be a large reason why children's and family television typically finds its comfort zone in middle to upper middle class bliss, where the biggest problem is your family photo shoot coming out squeaky clean. And there's nothing wrong with that. We love these shows. But it does present a skewed perspective of what American life is like. As Stile Sakira and Larry Osimensa put it, television serves as a
not a skewed perspective,
in part by fostering a single-minded interpretation of superficial symbolism as an indicator of status and equality. That is to say, by suggesting that the right house, the right toy, or the right sparkly outfit can bring you happiness and cement your status as happily middle class, TV reinforces a materialistic status quo. No.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Chrissy, you. Exhibit A, you. Huh? Exhibit B, your subscribers. No? But since he don't really got to say much more, Michael Burns pretty much said all of it. Yikes. We listen to black women make these backbiting, spiteful comments, and we know what informs it, and yet we're supposed to just let it be? Yeah, about that. And y'all give me a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, I had to play that clip from Wisecrack to emphasize what informs this desire. Mr. Z likes nice things too. As Saint Cyr said earlier in the comments, we've been to these places before. Mr. Z don't brag about it because meh, right? Eh, there's nothing too special. There's nothing to brag about. Ruth Chris, Morton's, right? Excuse me. With that, it says a lot about valuation of yourself, how you see men, right? Less as human beings, more as status markers. I've been saying the neoliberal assessment of men, right? And that says a lot. And for Z, I would implore the young men, young black men, to stay the absolute hell away from women who think and move like Chrissy, especially if she gives you any indication that she listens to a Chrissy. Whether it's a TikTok creator, a creator on TikTok, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, etc. Appreciate what you're getting. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat, she's busted. Another homely chick manifesto. Yeah, the heavy set black woman, a couple of weeks ago, she was speaking about how she turned down a coffee date. Yeah, and it became a conversation again. It was Ebony K. Williams all over again. It was the African young lady that we covered a few months ago all over again. That was calling coffee bean juice, which I thought was hysterical. Um, yeah, it's these type of conversations all over again. Black men want to give black women the bare minimum. Black men dusty. Black men, you know. We got to rehash the whole I don't want to go to a chain restaurant thing, even though many of these quote unquote upscale restaurants are chain restaurants, right? So it's really about stunting. It's really about showing off. It's really about how I want to be seen and viewed. And look, we're human beings. Status is high on our priority list. I appreciate this. Mr. Z's not dumb or naive. I appreciate that black women feel like they got to make up some ground, at least the Chrissies of the world, because they're not white women. And so they have to go above and beyond to prove their womanhood. Huh? As she said, are you going to these type of restaurants not just for your birthday, not just for a friend's birthday, but on a random Tuesday, Wednesday? I hear you, Chrissy. I get it. Huh? And once again, KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. KW Don says, apparently Chrissy hasn't heard of Richard Wolff, who's been sounding the alarm about their economy ever since Crotch Grab took office. Yeah. You know what? I don't think Chrissy is as informed, is as uninformed as some of the others. I think she don't care. I think what Chrissy shows you is borderline the Joker. Like, I want this, screw everything else. I don't care what I got to do. Right? Right now, she's on the legal tip, but she used to be out here with street dudes, her own words. Huh? I don't think Chrissy's uninformed like that, Is she all in the weeds like how we are in the black men's sphere? Probably not, but I don't think the lady's that uninformed. I think, especially for the Chrissy types, they see the environment, and so for them, it's even more. Oh, I'm really gonna be on this type of time now. And you see, so what's frightening is not only is Chrissy not the only one, black women aren't the only one. I would argue some of the more informed women who, as Chrissy called herself, are middle what she called herself, upper middle, not upper middle class, middle class, the upper part of middle class. I get what she was trying to say. I'm saying it all type of wrong. Um, I think those who are informed are hell. Huh? Middle upper class. That's what she called herself. Middle upper class. I think those folks are hell. Those women are hell because they kind of understand the environment, even if they're not all in the know, all in the weeds. They could. They're informed enough to say, "Oh yeah, I'm on this level and I'm staying here and I'll be damned." Which, okay, it's Chrissy proselytizing this that is the fascinating part, because it doesn't matter what the environment is outside. She's saying it anyway. That's why we cover things like this. It doesn't matter what the environment is outside. Old man winter is here. Huh? So KW Don, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. But Chrissy is standing on it, and she's not the only one. Yeah. It doesn't matter the environment. They swear by this. And so that's why y'all heard Mr. Z come in the door. Yeah, I'm ashamed, blame, and explain. You damn right they should feel shame, Mr. Z Rahman. Yes, I'm going to remind them all the time. You do know most of your subscribers ain't going to be able to pull this off, right? You just sending them out there to be the sexual plaything for some non-black men. They're going to freeze to death outside. You do know that's what's going to happen, right? You do know you sending your subscribers out there to freeze to death, right? Ah. And why shouldn't I say that? No matter the environment, you speak this way. As a matter of fact, it sounds like the colder it gets, the more you tell it. Hey, expand your options and date that luxury dating. You that. Hey, well, black women are losing jobs. Black women already had the least amount of wealth. Single black women already had the least amount of wealth in America. What is that going to look like in the next 18 months, 2 years, 5 years? Huh? What's that going to look like then? Ah. And let me see, there was another comment that I missed. Yeah, it was KMS. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat, black women will have to have a civil war for the greater good of their ethnic image, because this is embarrassing, especially the lying on black men about black women. Yeah, I think there will be a civil war. Shay covered, I want to say either today or yesterday, I watched it today, black women who were being honest about their relationship with their mothers, and essentially calling their mothers horrible, right? And there's a conversation to be had about spiteful, rageful black women who poison the well by quote unquote giving advice to other young, impressionable black women. Huh? There's a whole conversation to be had about these folks and their quote unquote advice and what they say to young black women about how young black women should move, particularly, obviously, quote unquote, romantically. Why is Mr. Z put in romantic in quotes? Because they're not actually engaging in romance. Huh? Black women are some of the most chronically single group of people in America, the most chronically single. Yeah. And so, yes, there needs to be a civil war. Because you have certain moms, you have aunts and grandmas and homegirls who will forever steer other black women the wrong way. Kevin Samuels was 100% right when he said single women keep other women single. And now you hear them saying investing in community of all women, this Combahee River Collective thing. Have fun with the self-munching. Self-munching, you heard Z. The nuclear powered, Dyson powered Rose toys, the co-munching, y'all heard right. It is embarrassing, KMS, it is. Talk about leaving the barn doors open. Black men's marriage rate is increasing because their interracial marriage rate is increasing, and yet the Chrissies of the world are still on this type of time. As I said the other night, y'all keep this documented. Document these things, save them, so that in the future, folks will understand why the black women who can't afford it don't got no man, but they do got a robot that looks like a man. Huh? Yikes. And KMS, once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And KMS continues and he says, I agree that worst, quote unquote, worst of us shouldn't be having conversations only if the best of us can be excluded too. The outliers are talking too damn much. Take the mic from Glocktavius. Bet. Take Barack's. Ooh. So yes, and it is what I say where the outliers are doing way too much talking. Way too much. Look, man, the young lady with the shorter haircut, I covered it when I covered Sarah Fontenot, I'm sorry. When she was that Ace Metaphor? She was speaking to Ace Metaphor and a couple of the others, and she kept on saying like we were supposed to be talking about what $70,000 a year men, and now we all the way up to $300,000. We can't even send those type of men when we're talking about them. Exactly. Outliers, and Chrissy is one of them. Black woman that earns more than six figures, outlier. She calls herself middle upper class. Okay, we'll take it. The outliers are doing way too much talking. Literally just throwing salt in the game. Huh? Way too much talking. Skewed worldview, skewed view about money and relationships. That weirdo, light-skinned, heavier black woman that said, if you earn only $50,000 a year, you shouldn't date. All of this weirdo talk. You know, years and years and years and years ago. This isn't going too far with the years and years ago. This had to be, maybe 6-7 years ago at this point. Amiose Frimpong, the funky academic, was speaking about he would have loved to be the person to help bring good times back, right? And he would write the characters as, one of them would be a crackhead, One of them would be a teacher, and like a working class kind of family now. I don't even think he said something like middle class. He said like working class. Or he, if I'm not mistaken, even if that wasn't the words that Army used, that was kind of the sentiment. Like he would rewrite a modern um a modern version of Good Times, same characters, right? And show, a slightly older, so I don't know how the time scale would work, but still, but version of them. And to be frank with you, that would probably be way more accurate, like everybody hates Chris type thing, than what the hell we got going on TV and social media concerning black folks. It's nothing but aspirational and wish fulfillment TV. And like television is not just television. That's why it's television programming. And then you have a bunch of young folks, women, who this only encourages them to be even more delusional. And then that does affect their politics, their advocacy, the way they see relationship, intimate relationship. So you have a bunch of outliers, weirdos, doing way too much talking, Anton, and you wonder what informs them exactly. Is it just pure aspiration? Is it like respectability? Because we know definitely anti-blackness and white supremacy informs them, like that goes without saying. But yeah, KMS, the outliers are doing way too much talking. And they're not even like oftentimes advocating. Now, this one, Anton does do a good job, but they're not even advocating in ways that would be beneficial for the masses of black people. Right? Yikes. Right? Like when they speak about relationship, this is the part where I'll say Anton doesn't do too bad of a job. When they start talking about obligation, money, what a man should do, it's all outlier perspective. Which is fascinating because it puts black women in this really interesting position because you can see the wheels turning in their head when they're listening to these folks, which is like, okay, well then, and it's the same thing that heavyset black women with the tattoo on her chest when she was speaking to Kevin Samuels back in the day, rest in peace, Kevin. Essentially, well, okay, so if I don't get the high value man, then they gonna just whatever man I get, you just gonna have to deal with this attitude. Yeah. Oh, no wonder our sons are dating out, because you're telling our sons that are going to be everyday salt of the earth men, good fathers, good husbands, that that's not good enough because they're not rich enough. And well, once again, the outliers are doing way too much talking. Throwing salt in the game. The men and the women, especially the women. White, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise. And then you have everyday women consuming this nonsense day in and day out. I don't want to hear nothing about no damn podcast, bros, when your daughters are out here deep throwing luxury content all day, every day. No? I don't want to hear nothing about no red pill manosphere, black manosphere, He-Man woman hater talk. When your daughter is watching the Paris Malons and the Chrissies and the Manifestels, the Shira Sevens, all this how to get him to fall in love with you in 3 easy steps so that you can raid his wallet. Huh? Because that's not dangerous. Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? KMS, once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Yikes. Okay, let me make sure I got the rest of you. Give me a second. And Big Mo says, and thank you for the super chat. Instead of man not, white men see black women as women not. Where there aren't seen as complete women and instead seen as vagina having hominoids to pogo stick their jungle fever out on prior to marrying a white woman. I agree with that 100%. It is actually really goddamn dehumanizing. Huh? Like, I was joking, but I wasn't joking when I said the young white dudes, teenagers, early mid 20s, they learn all their little moves in the bedroom with the Latinas and the black girls. Huh? And turn around and marry a white woman on their ass. Ooh, goddamn. Huh? He learned all the little tricks with the black girls. Lose his V card in his mid-teens, maybe early teens, mid-teens, maybe even late teens. Learn all the tricks, learn how to do this, that. Last black girlfriend, 23, 24. Nobody know what happened to dude. White Mike. Nobody know what happened to White Mike. Next time you see White Mike is in the grocery store somewhere. Huh? White Mike used to have the pull-out grills and Paula on 22s with 215s in the trunk. Next time you see White Mike in the grocery store, he's 36 years old and he's looking like Ryan Lochte with the white wife and the 3.2 kids. Ooh, goddamn. It's supposed to be 2.3 kids. I know. Huh? Y'all seen Ryan Lochte recently? Look at Ryan Lochte with K. Michelle, and then look at Ryan Lochte now. I'm just saying. Huh? Z, don't mention it. Look at Travis Kelce now. God damn. Look at Travis Kelce when he was a kid in the cold. Huh? Black women are complete women to Z. Their attitudes, oh boy. Their weight, But for certain non-black men, oof. A body attached to a vagina. No? Yikes. And Big Mo, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And I agree with you. I've said that before. You know? TB says, Travis John B. Kelsey. Yeah, the difference is John B. married a black woman. They got divorced. He turned around and married another black woman. Can't tell you whether John B. is anti-black or not. But at least when it comes to black women, he said, no, I actually meant it. Huh? He said, no, I actually meant it. Yikes. Yikes. Say that. And Black Bruce says, if anything, they are thankful for black women being their early belly warmers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it gets worse. Then he uses that to say he's not racist when one of us check him on something racist he said at work. Huh? I'm not racist. I've dated black women. No, you've piped black women. Huh? And that didn't mean anything because she anti-black too. Lame ass. Huh? Nothing funnier than these Latinos and white dudes say, I'm not racist. I've had black girlfriends. No, stop. Huh? You pogo stick to the black woman, sir. Doesn't mean you're not anti-black. So even with the environment, you have these weirdos talking crazy. Oh well, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. I want to cover this because I've had the clips of Chrissy for over a week now, maybe. But yeah, about a week, a little over a week. But I wanted to tie that with these news clips. By the way, these news clips are only like a day or so old. All three of them that I played. Yeah, 300,000 jobs. First of all, these people are late because we've been talking about this. I don't know for how long. Are black women being targeted? Maybe. Huh? Y'all sure y'all wanted to be bragging about the 92%? We're the 92%. We're the ones who voted for Kamala. Y'all sure y'all wanted to keep on putting all the memes? Do y'all understand how petty Trump is? Huh? Y'all don't think Barron's all over social media? God damn. Maybe y'all don't appreciate who the hell the Trump family is. Barron is a college student. What, he's like 6'7"? You don't think he see the little memes y'all putting? Whenever something go wrong with Trump, y'all put the little Kermit the Frog drinking the orange juice. Y'all put the little meme with Kamala doing the shrugs like, Mrs. ain't gonna tell you to stop doing it. I'm just telling you what the cost could potentially be. Ta-da! Huh? Better use this. If you getting hit, does it matter if they aiming at you? Good point. Good point. All the pictures, y'all sitting on top of buildings, skyscrapers, drinking your coffee with the 92% shirt on. That's what? I get it. Y'all appreciate how petty this man is. Huh? Y'all do realize that Elon Musk is from apartheid South Africa? Yeah, that's South Africa. Huh? Yeah, that's South Africa. Y'all do realize that that was the head of Doge for a couple of months. Ugh. Y'all didn't understand what was going on? Y'all still don't know who Peter Thiel is yet? Oh, by the way, all that black moms and white dads, black women and white men make the best couples. Yeah, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir. Yeah, black mom, white dad. Whoa, and he's white passing. Ah, huh? And if you think Palantir's only going to operate outside of the US, you got another thing coming. Oh. So much for that black women, white men relationships. Huh? And mom was a whole activist. Oh boy. Oh yeah. That means you're a psycho, Mr. Carp. That means you're conscious of what you're doing and you doing it anyway. Uh-huh. Oh, the one I was referencing, I kept on saying bald dude, kind of chubby bald dude. Mark Andreessen. Huh? Who, by the way, thinks that Elon is a genius. Oh boy. Oh, these characters. Ladies, these are the people. Y'all listening to Chrissy with this weirdo luxurious lifestyle crap, punching down on black men, but of course she is. Huh? Punching down on black men, but of course she is. Meanwhile, Alex Karp, Mark Andreessen, Curtis Yarvin, Stephen Miller. They said Stephen Miller practically run the White House. Uh-oh. And he's a known racist. Oh. Huh? So on one hand, black women lose 300,000 jobs in a span of a few months. And on the other hand, is Chrissy talking about luxurious dating. Yeah. And being spiteful about it. Y'all let black men talk about their preferences all the time.
Then we're not shaming for. And like I said earlier, I think we as women should respect other women's preferences regardless of if they're identical to our own or not. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And that was another thing I kind of wanted to like touch on too, because it's like, y'all know you don't have to go on a coffee date to get to know a man. Like, what happens to talking on the phone? Y'all don't do that no more? Y'all don't FaceTime no more? So y'all act like that's the only way to go, oh, well, what if I need to get away? Girl, even if I'm on a long date and I want to leave, I'm leaving. Okay, oh, I got a text from my mama, I gotta go. Something like, you don't have to stay there. So yeah, it's like, I don't think like this is an issue to where it needs to keep going viral over and over like this. I think it's stupid. And you know what's interesting to me? Black men announce their preferences all the time. Like, black men will come online, they'll talk about how they don't date dark-skinned women, they don't date fat women, they don't date women who are average at best. They say this all the time. And what are black women told? We are frequently told to get over it because it's just their preference. Black women, you need to ignore them because, you know, everybody's not going to like you. You guys want everybody to like you. Think about all the stuff we hear when black women respond to the black men's preference. But as soon as a black woman announces her preference, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. It's like, okay, well, what happened to it's just a preference? What happened to, oh, get over it. No, not everybody has to like you or want what you have to offer. Why doesn't that same logic apply here? Oh,
because we said so. And either we're right or black women starve. Ooh. Because we said so, Chrissy. Because we said so. Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the US. Because we said so. Why is it different? Because we said so. Now do something about it. Oh, wait. You did something about it, but the rest of your subscribers, on the other hand, uh-oh. Huh? You're making good money. You date non-black men. How your subscribers looking? Huh? Why is it different? Because we said so. Who's we? Black men. Check that interracial marriage rate for black men. Huh? Chrissy, because we said so. To all black women, because we said so. It's either we get pepperoni pizza or you starve. Why is it different? Because we said so. That's easy math. You're either on black men's program. Chrissy said black men don't got no program. Okay, you're either on black men's program or you watch your sister go through it. You watch the non-black men and some women take them up through there. That's it. Why is it different? Because we said so? Huh? Mr. Z don't even got to make a backbiting, spiteful comment. I could just say, because we said so. Now what? So you could go ahead and, quote unquote, save yourself from Blackistan. What about your 200 and some odd thousand subscribers? Uh-oh. Huh? Same thing with Real Talk with Yanni with her decentrament crap. Kim Foster, Paris Milan then ran. Huh? The block got too hot between her beefing with the mixed girls, the mixed women, and she had the largest channel. It's simple. Either we're right or you watch black women truly be that permanent underclass. And you're the one who said it's better if they're not, if it's better that they're alone. If they can't date up, we gonna make you mean that, Chrissy.
This is what I tell average looking and below average looking women. If you can't date up, be alone. Life is easier that way. And I know that's controversial. I don't care. I don't care.
And we're gonna make you mean that. Shout out to Indigo Flow.
Look at me, look at me. If you were single, if you were a single woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, look at me, okay? I was feeling great about myself. I was like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm single. I don't need no man. I actually really would love a man, and I do need a man. But just, this is what we say when we're single and we just want to... Anyway, focus, Medina.
Yeah, we know, but we're gonna make you mean it anyway. We know that's what you tell yourself when you're single to make yourself feel better. Yeah, we know we're gonna make you mean it anyway. Huh? And this is exactly, TB got what up Mr. Z is saying. My wallet, my wishes. Because the men are the ones subsidizing the women, Chrissy, that's why. Why is it different? Because we said so. Huh? The average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more per year when in a relationship. Chrissy, because we said so. And yes, this applies to black men too. Once again, the average man spends $5,000 to $12,000 more per year when in a relationship because we're subsidizing women, Chrissy, because we're subsidizing black women, because we said so. Double standard. Grow up. Why is it different? Because we said so. And we could be wrong and watch black women struggle because of it. Oops. There will be a day when Trump and JD Vance and the Republicans will not be in the White House. They won't be in Congress, or they'll be in Congress, but they won't be the majority. And you'll have more leftist politicians in office, or as the majority in Congress and as president. The Supreme Court is gone for a generation, though. That's gone. That's out of here. The Supreme Court is gone for a generation. You can kiss that goodbye. Huh? At least from what it's looking like now. You never know. But what it's looking like now, yeah, that's gone for a generation. Even when, not if, because the pendulum swings, even when this thing swings the other way, Chrissy, either we're right or black women struggle. What Trump did devastated what black women stood on. And if he can manage to stay alive for the next 3 and some odd years, and the governments can still operate slimmer, a slimmer government, that will be the new precedent. But it won't only be the government, it's going to be the private sector also. And that's going to hurt everybody. But once again, because we're black and because black women, and some of them don't got the best reputation with customer service, once it could be proven that you could slim down your workforce, pay the big upfront cost for automation or machine learning, and patch it throughout its entire life cycle, it's a wrap for all of us. But first, black folks. Oh, wait for it, Z. First, black women. Huh? Ah, this is why you should have got on the black man's program. Instead of listening to Chrissy, ladies. A Economic commentary told the brothers no reach back. I don't know what y'all gonna do. Huh? Z, what are they gonna do? Mrs. Z don't know what they're gonna do now because, well,
don't you do it! Don't you! I got nowhere else to go! I got nowhere else to go!
Black women do not be having the options that they say they got. And before you jump in my comments, no, I don't have a man. No, I don't have options. Okay, so I beat you to it. There you go. I already beat you to it. So if that's all you care about, you can go and scroll past this video. Anyway, black women do not be having the options that they say they got, because my whole thing is, if you say you have an option, that means you like that option. That means you are considering that option. So women be talking about, we got options. Oh, a man is the easiest thing to get. But the man y'all be talking about, you don't even want the man. Y'all don't even want to.
See, we knew you were lying. We knew, black women, we knew y'all were lying. I know that's hard to believe because y'all think we're stupid and dumb and slow, right? Because we want to pipe, so sometimes we act stupid, dumb, and slow so that we could pipe. So y'all really believe it. But we knew y'all were BSing the whole time. We know. We know you BSing about what other men are doing for you. We know you BSing about how your DMs stay flooded. Stop lying. Huh? We know you BSing and hyping yourself up about what the ex-boyfriend used to do and buy you. Stop lying. We know. Dear ladies, we know. Huh? Even if you used to deal with a street dude and he was doing all of that stuff. But y'all not together no more and you ain't gonna get back up there. Ooh, goddamn, Z, you said that out loud. Ooh, Z, stop it, stop it. Ladies, we know. We know. But the environment now, oh, it's causing some of y'all to crash out. It's also causing some of y'all to tell a little bit of truth. Huh? And Lion says the only thing left to do now is let them live with their delusion. That's a lot of delusion. That's a lot of delusion. Oh, it's looking bad. Ray says they can live in covens and share toys. Oh no, not the toys. Not the toys. Yeah, no, that's exactly what's gonna be happening. Huh? Yikes. Actually, as a matter of fact, y'all gives you a second. I got something for y'all. Wait a minute. And we're back. And let me see if I can add some of these. This is hysterical. Shout out to Louis. Louis been working overtime, y'all. So let me read that comment again because we are going to reference it. And Ray says they can live in covens and share their toys, but what do their toys look like though? Does it look a little bit like this? Oh no, Z. Huh? Does it look like that? No? Okay, well, wait. Right, we got more. We got way more because Louis was on a roll. Do we look like this? Huh? Yikes. Huh? For those of you listening, you might want to look at the screen. It's funny and it's still obscure enough where your kid under the age of 10 still not gonna get it. Huh? Shout out to Louis Conyer. Right? Shout out to Louis. Working overtime. Does the toy look like this? What them toys look like? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Huh? Louis was out here acting a damn fool. Y'all should never gave Negroes the ability to use prompts. Huh? GC said Adam Smasher 9000. Huh? Just saying, like, ladies, we have to make fun. Y'all call us he-man woman haters, incels. Men be in whole relationships. Y'all still call them incels because y'all don't like the way they speak. Huh? So we gotta make fun. It's only right. Huh? It's only right. Y'all say if we don't like what y'all doing or how y'all act, then maybe we should engage in situations with men. And we say, no, we'll just go overseas. Or we'll just date outside the black community. But we know what type of time y'all gonna be on. Huh? Look at her, she sleep right now. She enjoying that sleep. That's some good sleep after that goddamn power tool. Huh? Yikes. Mike, so I've debated this also. Mike says, I don't think the big girl got axed out for coffee at all. You know, I debated that also. How much of that story was true? Or I should say it better, whether that story was true. Huh? Because there is a way of like bragging about something that did not happen. But I'm iffy about that. The reason why I was kind of on the fence about that is because I do think some of these sisters, some of these black women that make these claims, they're not lying. Shout out to the Raj Report if he's still listening. You can ask Raj. I kept telling Raj, big girl that said Usher gave him something, he smashed. It was no debate in my mind. He did it for real. Did he actually give her the itchy scratchy? Yeah, he probably didn't give her the itchy scratchy. As a matter of fact, that it came out in court that he didn't do it. But did he smash? Oh yeah, he smashed. I put money Usher smashed her. I know y'all not Usher, not been making money since he was what 13, 14 years old. Usher, not Usher. Yep, but Usher smashed. Huh? When Lizzo said she got football players in her DMs, I believed her. Huh? Now, were they just looking for a fun time? Or were they going to try to be there for a long time? We already know what that is. But I believed her. I believed her when she said she had dudes in her DMs, NFL players in her DMs. I believe her. Huh? So this young lady, yeah, she may not be a looker, but could a man have asked her out? Maybe even a white dude. It wasn't a white dude. It was a brother. Stop it. On a coffee date? Yeah, it's possible. Could she also be lying out her teeth? Yes. Huh? Some of these women are not lying when they tell you, you'll be surprised who's trying to holler at me. Now, let's slow up. You're taking it the wrong way, madam. You're thinking, do we really want to do anything more than experiment? Huh? I could show you a sister and you'll be surprised the white dude that smashed. Huh? I could show you a black woman, you'd be like, ain't no way he smashed her. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Huh? And she gonna hold on to that for the rest of her goddamn life. This is a real story I'm saying. Huh? So one of the reasons why the women are so delusional, and this kind of leads into a bit of what BGS covered. Was that his second channel or his first channel? Leave Pookie, leave Pookie's women alone or something like that. I think BGS said it. But some of the reason why some of these women are delusional is because they're not lying about the type of men that are at least trying to smash. Now they say pull, meh, he ain't doing nothing more than trying to experiment, man. Huh? But you can imagine that would cause certain folks to be delusional when the folks you would never think would be caught dead with her is actually trying to smash. And we're right. Like he's actually not he's not trying to be caught. But he is trying to slide through. Huh? Yikes. Exactly. And Lion says, anything bragging about DMs, you might as well laugh at because they know 99% just want to smash. Yeah. But when you have nothing else, what else is there to talk about? Huh? When you have nothing else, what else is there to talk about? So on that note, y'all have kept y'all too long. We were supposed to end this out. Oh man. Homegirl said, I'm numb. Homegirl said, I'm numb. So I wanted to cover the Chrissy thing because even in this late date, although the stream I'm covering is about a week old, give or take a few days, to say there will be women who won't fall off the edge of the cliff, but they will lead their subscribers off of the edge of the cliff. Some of them will lead their subscribers, to the edge of the cliff, and those subscribers will fall off. But right before they fall off, those women will pick their pockets, snatch their wallet, their pocketbook, and watch them fall into a lifetime of antidepressant pills, being a sexual plaything for all different type of men, engaging in same-sex loving, whatever the hells. There are others who are going to lead their subscribers off of the edge of the cliff out of pure spite for black men. Shout out to Chrissy. I don't think Chrissy need the money. She not leading her subscribers off the edge of the cliff because she need the money. She leading her subscribers off of the edge of the cliff out of pure spite for black men. And once again, falling to their death, definitely social death, what looks like, once again, lifetime supply of antidepressant pills, same-sex loving, whatever the hells, being the sexual plaything for non-black men, all men, quite frankly, black men also, and generally a lack of stability. Huh? Yikes. So on that note, y'all done seen what Louis sent me earlier. Shout out to Louis. And there's more. There's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna be able to use and utilize. And shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Y'all check out his channel. And we're gonna end out there. I don't want to stress too much longer. I played the clips from Chrissy. Mr. Z thinks it's egregious that this young lady is still speaking like this. Right? I want black men to appreciate that you don't have to put the life raft on yourself to go save her. She gonna still drown your ass. Even with the life raft on, Z, yes. Huh? If they would listen to Chrissy and Yanni and Paris and Shira Seven and Divested Zealot and Sovereign Black Woman or Sovereign Woman and all these other characters, if they're listening to all the TikTok women, I don't even know the women on TikTok's name. If they listen to all those weirdo women on TikTok, leave her where she stands. She is going to make your life miserable. I'm particularly directing this to the young men. So on that note, y'all, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Louis says, check your thumbnail. I said, okay. And yeah, y'all, Mr. Z got things to do. So we'll end it out right here. Y'all have a great, great rest of your night. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.